That's right, Brittany. APD wrapped up the press conference about an hour or so ago. In it, they went over the details of the story you just finished reporting on.
I asked these guys if there ever is a time where they don't hit the roads because of the weather, and surprisingly they said yes. They told me that if the roads are too slick to the point that they cannot gain traction.
Today, the Dallas Stars are taking their game from the ice rink to the concrete right here at Morningside Elementary School. That's when we're told Greenlee climbed this nearly 16-foot razor wire fence, jumped over, and then headed south into the Trinity River bottom. That the train delay didn't affect the results of this fire, but he's worried that may not be the case if, say, a structure like Cisco College caught fire and his team ran into the same type of delay.
These truck drivers tell me driving in the snowy weather can be even more difficult when you're driving a double-decker like this one.
Now here's some options on the table. A required 3 passengers versus the current 2, a discounted charge, or a full rate fee. The two most common blood types are O positive and A positive, which in turn are the types of blood the center frequently needs.
Like you said, if you take a look behind us on streets like these, South 14th, the cars are going pretty slow because they're still iced over. But fortunately, that was not the case on highways like Interstate 20.
Brittany, this was the 34th annual MLK March here in Abilene. The man who started it, Claude Royal, died in 2008, but today his children, along with members of the community, carry on the tradition. Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech still rings clear today.
Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
And in 1980, the words and actions of Dr. King was what sprung Abilene activist Claude Royal into action.
So he thought it would be beneficial to do it in this city, not just for people that look like me, but for the entire city.
Royal started the MLK March with people like Leon Scott by his side. Others like Reverend Langford and 83-year-old James Francis Jr. joined the movement not too long after it began.
He felt that it would make folks aware of where we were at that time and where we need to go.
When they wanted to walk across the bridge, then Claude Royal made certain approaches.
Back then, the march may have been great in spirit, but not so much in numbers.
There was a lot of people that had the desire to march, but they was afraid to march, afraid of the repercussion.
But over the years, the crowd's grown, and today hundreds came out to walk across one of the few MLK bridges in Texas. Francis says the significance of where the group walks every year on this day dates back to the early 1960s.
The Vietnam War was going on. Martin Luther King was criticizing Lyndon Johnson for the way that he was handling the Vietnam War. So they had this meeting. And the agreement was, I will assist you in your marches if you will stop criticizing the way that I'm handling the Vietnam War. That was the agreement. And that is the reason that the National Guard, federal troops, were made available for them to march across that bridge without any incident.
I am writing you because I am a desperate father. Me and my family have been through a lot. We found out that I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Through all of this, my children have not had a good Christmas and birthdays, but my kids have been strong. I need some help with some gifts. My wife is the only income, and we are struggling. If you can help, I would be so grateful.
There's a lot of people out there that can't have a Christmas like my grandkids did, and I felt like instead of just letting a tree sit here, I would donate them to somebody that could enjoy them.
Well, we wanted to really help a family that wanted it and needed it and would brighten their Christmas and so forth. Just the joy of seeing it presented to them and that they would have a better Christmas is all the thanks we need.
I think I'll start with the youngest monster truck or 2. Now let's move to Angelina, age 8. Have a Barbie doll. He said they love to read. Here's a couple of books. Now I think I'm just gonna start picking out stuff.
We've got a Christmas tree, we've got a car full of goodies. We're headed to Cisco.
Look at all those gifts back there. Where are we now, John?
We are passing through Clyde.
How far are we?
We actually just entered Cisco city limits.
Hi, how are you? I'm LaDyrian from KTAB.
When did you find out he wrote the letters?
Right, when you called. We have to provide for these kids no matter what happens. So one way or another, just it never fails. Somebody will, if we're struggling with a little something, something will come up and we'll get through it.
You could go somewhere else and you could hear people say, oh, nobody helps you. I'm grateful for the people of Eastland County. I was given an opportunity through this cancer that a lot of people don't get.
We're not supposed to turn away God's blessings, because this is a blessing from what people are just showing up at the door and bringing me food. It's a blessing from God. I'm asking for God's help, so I have to take it.
At the beginning of this month, the overdose death of actor Philip Seymour Hoffman put a national spotlight on the uptick in heroin usage, bringing much needed attention to the growing drug problem.
Nothing could stop me. You know, I used, no matter what. It didn't matter. I just used.
Here in Abilene, the spike in heroin addictions is beginning to emerge from the dark.
When I was 23, I was introduced to heroin and IV heroin user, and from that point on, it ruined my life and destroyed me.
Just 2 weeks ago, set this 26-year-old father and husband who preferred to remain anonymous by using only his first name, Zachary.
It went from Lortabs to hydrocodone to Oxycontin.
As for many of the annual 156,000 new heroin users, other drugs like non-medical prescription painkillers served as a gateway to heroin usage for Zachary.
The people coming to our detox unit, we look at their heroin, methadone use, and then prescription medication, and those are all opiates, and you detox them the same way.
Cindy Weir is the CEO of Serenity House in Abilene, where Zachary enlisted for treatment.
From our admissions, it seems like the heroin use has just exploded with the young people, and it's real prevalent in the young 20s.
The center's admission statistics also suggest that within the last year, heroin has begun to rival the staple drugs of choice.
For the people who are admitted into detox, it's around 40 to 45% claim that alcohol is their drug of choice. And so now heroin in the opiate family, their percentage exceeds alcohol use.
Here at the Law Enforcement Center, agents in the Abilene Police Department's narcotics unit are also seeing a similar trend.
Probably over the last 2 to 3 years, we've been able to get some ends into the heroin crowd and have increased our arrests in that area.
In Abilene, street value of a hit of heroin is $20, and according to Sergeant Van Holdbrook, that hit can sometimes be as small as a fingertip.
Coming off of heroin is horrible. You can die from it. They have a great detox team to help you detox, but it's not fun. You have to be ready for it mentally, physically.
Zachary will forever have these track marks on his arms to remind him of his struggle with heroin, but says he's grateful that after trying to shake the drug for at least 100 times alone, he finally enlisted help.
I've had heroin goggles on for 6 years, and now I'm looking at life clear-headed, and it's just totally different. We're not put on this earth to be heroin addicts, you know, so once you get treatment and get out, you know, your life really starts.